This one's kind of crazy because we're going from interviews down to shooting the course content, back to interviews, and then we'll go right into B-roll, and then we'll go back into interviews. So it's just kind of back-to-back craziness. Connect?
Yeah.
Cool. So I think whatever this next one. How's it going?
Hi. Hey guys.
How was your hotel?
It's good.
Did you guys recover the car?
We did. That was like, it wasn't that bad. It was a very short ordeal.
Yeah.
It was just unfortunate.
So for the parts where we're filming you talking,
Yes.
What times are those?
This is a good question. Let's connect with Ashley because she has the schedule.
We're doing like welcome, grounders, and intros from 10:20 to 11.
Okay.
And then we're doing the talk of how to have a seven-figure business from 11 to 12:30.
Perfect.
So
11 to 12:30 is my talk. That would be great.
And you want that whole section recorded?
If possible,
Yeah,
that
we
would
can.
be awesome.
Yeah, so we won't be able to get any B-roll during that section, but like I think we'll have plenty of time for B-roll
I
throughout the
think
rest
if
of
we
it.
get that section, then we can get later today and then tomorrow for
Okay.
B-roll. Do you think that's enough?
Yeah, it's fine.
But I'm basically gonna be here,
Okay.
and then this will have a slide up on it, and then I'll be drawing out the
Okay.
stuff here. So it'll kind of be like, people can reference this, but I'll be here
Okay.
referencing this.
Any chance that you could switch to over here?
Because I'm left-handed,
Oh,
it's really
that's
hard
right.
for me to do that.
Yeah.
Otherwise I would.
Okay, so we bring extra microphones because this guy, apparently something's wrong with the connector. And you get tons of feedback in it. And so I don't quite know what's going on, but it's garbage right now. So we always bring spares, especially with like small things, even though these aren't necessarily cheap. But I don't know, they're just so fragile that oftentimes sometimes the first thing to go. So we'll always try to bring like multiple microphones. Obviously, when possible, multiple cameras and things like that can be helpful, but it's also really expensive. So definitely the little things, multiple cables in case you rip one, multiple microphones with cables in case you rip one, multiple batteries in case one explodes. And hopefully that's what the problem was, and not something else. But also, if it's the receiver, we have multiple receivers. Yep, that's what the problem was. Test, 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 test. Yep, faulty microphone cable. If we're not getting any specific shots, I think just kind of step out and like take a break. That way we're not like crowding the area and just kind of sitting around. So we'll just try to come out here, and I think we can kind of like rest in this area and then go back in. That way we're not just like crowding everything.
Drew, pick this spot.
Yeah, this is Drew's spot right there. Okay, any questions? Cool. Tights and wides, tights and wides.
Alright, it's gonna go other way. It's upside down. We love it's upside down. Oh.
Okay, so on your camera, the biggest thing will be just making sure we're switching back, and Jamie, as well as for you helping Drew,
Okay.
making sure that B-roll, 60 frames per second. Interviews or her talking, 24. So just gotta be switching back and forth. Okay guys, and when a brick goes cold, we stick it on the charger. And we have hot bricks on the charger, so just swap them, because we'll need every battery we can get.
Burn yourself.
Wear gloves when you pick up the bricks. Okay, so we're dumping our media cards here. Typically not recommended to be relying on media dumps. There's always the potential for issues to arise. But in this case, the original kind of concept from the client was to do 15 minutes of her teaching a course and then mainly interviews. So that's kind of what we had planned for media-wise. Even though we do have excess media, we didn't have quite enough for the changes that ended up coming up to where we're doing an hour and a half of the individual teaching plus the interviews. So it's eating through our media a lot faster than what we had originally planned for before the change. Dumping media, you always got to be precise. So we'll dump the media, we'll check the file sizes, and then we will pull up the clip and jump through the clip and just make sure it's all copied over. I typically will eject the hard drive and then reinsert it just to make sure that it still pops up, because in the end we don't want to lose any of the footage. What's nice is that because our cards, at least in the state that we're shooting at, we have 64 minutes between each card. So it gives us basically an hour to make sure that we have all the media copied over if that arises. Again, when you know ahead of time that you have long shoots, don't plan on media dumps, plan on media changes. Rent cards, buy more cards. These are a little harder to buy because they're, $400 each. If you're on, bigger cameras like Red Mags, you're like 3,000 each, so it's a little harder, but you can rent them and it will save you a lot of heartache. We had the client increase kind of the scope of the project in the middle of the project. How do we deal with that financially? One thing that we've learned that has helped us a lot as a business is you always have to find ways to communicate those increases because the client should be responsible for increases in scope. When it wasn't previously communicated and when we did everything we could to try to make sure that all those details were talked about and then just something comes up, which happens. The first thing is contracts, where you have in our agreement, we have a statement that shows what happens when certain scope parameters increase. If we're doing scripted and they need more revisions or they need a whole brand new script, that's already in the agreement of, hey, if you happen to go for a new script, it costs this much. We have how much it costs per day filming. So we're here for 2 days. If they decide that we need to be here for 3 days, it's already in the agreement how much more that's going to cost. So they already know the cost. Same thing with editing. We charge per minute editing for the creative, kind of more cut videos for advertising pieces. So we charge per finished minute of video for that. For more class type oriented stuff, we charge per finished 5 minutes of video. We just have those prices that are already clearly labeled inside of our agreement. So in this case, when we jumped from 15 minutes to an hour and 15 minutes or an hour and 30, the client already has an idea on paper of what that increase is going to look like for their budget. We charge a 70% upfront fee that covers all of the actual physical costs of getting everybody here, getting location, equipment, everything set up. On the back end of the 30%, that's where we will end up charging this extra amount as per the agreement. And so again, we'll communicate with the client so that they know about it. We'll communicate it with them kind of today just to make sure everybody's tracking on the same page and there's no feelings of, oh my gosh, you guys are ripping us off. And then that's it. It kind of makes it super easy to go about changes because it's already been pre-communicated.
Everyone's always so awkward when they can feel the camera being pointed at them. And then they start making this face.
So we're shooting B-roll right now. It's kind of a class situation. It's a little awkward because we got to get right into people's faces. So both of us are shooting on longer lenses. I tried some big wide stuff and none of it was really working. And then there was this kind of like back and forth between the students and the teacher that was really good and people were talking. And now it's gone back to more instruction from just the teacher. So it's got kind of there's less to shoot at that point because nobody, most people are just and nobody's interacting in any way. So it's now I'm kind of the point where I don't know what to do anymore. So I'm gonna grab a snack. The event will be over soon and we're going to film their mingling exit. So there'll be mingling. And then an exit.
Through the door.
Okay, and I'll be here, and she'll be there, and then we'll be filming like that.
And then
See?
we will have a crash.
Yes. Got it? Does that make sense? Okay.
Admire it so much. Okay, amazing. So you can stop there.
We're gonna shoot some like B-roll of the city since we got a little bit of time for a highlight reel that we'll be doing for the clients. We're gonna go throw on the 15mm and go get some cool outdoorsy shots.
Too far to walk over to the water?
No, we can. I wanted to see if we get this shot here with the split lighting on the brick, and then head. You wanna stop recording?
We traveled to Boston. It's my first time here in Boston, and I really like the city. It's completely different to Utah. There are cool buildings here. The food was very good. So the film shoot in Boston was for me the first film shoot with the COMV team. I really liked it so far. Everything is very structured, organized. The team is motivated, and yeah, we have a lot of fun together. It's cool, and we shot a lot of cool things. I get the experience to do a lot of stuff with the camera. I'm excited how the video looks like when we are finished. And yeah, what should I say? So
I'll just say it all in German. Just say the whole thing in German.
okay. Ja, das war zum ersten Mal. Wow. I really cannot speak German anymore.